so bored. Pepe's is still on her way. Let's just be patient. Okay. Oh, she's here.
Hi guys!
Sorry guys, I'm late. I know you were bored waiting for me. By the way, do you want to read the story? Yes?
Let's read the story then.
I discovered this one sentence story.
One sentence story?
Yes, you've heard it right. It is a one sentence story.
Isn't it amazing? Amazing! Isn't it surprising? Surprising!
If you would want to know further, I would love to have you join me in reading this story. A mother-daughter relationship is at the heart of this piece, and it goes as follows. Wash the white clothes on Monday and put them on the stone heap. Wash the colored clothes on Tuesday and put them on the clothesline to dry. Don't walk barehead in the sun. Cook pumpkin fritters in very hot sweet oil. Soak your little cloths right after you take them off. When buying cotton to make yourself a nice blouse, be sure that it doesn't have gum in it, because that way it won't hold up well after a wash. Soak saltfish overnight before you cook it. Is it true that you sing Bena in Sunday school? Always eat your food in such a way that it won't turn someone else's stomach. On Sundays, try to walk like a lady and not like the slut you are so bent on becoming. Don't sing Bena in Sunday school. You must not speak to wharf rat boys, not even to give directions. Don't eat fruits on the street. Flies will follow you. But I don't sing Bena on Sundays at all, and never in Sunday school. This is how to sew on a button. This is how to make a buttonhole for the button you have just sewed on. This is how to hem a dress when you see the hem coming down, and so to prevent yourself from looking like the slut I know you are so bent on becoming.
This is how you iron your father's khaki shirt so that it doesn't have a crease. This is how you iron your father's khaki pants so that they don't have a crease. This is how you grow okra far from the house, because okra tree harbors red ants. When you are growing the shin, make sure it gets plenty of water, or else it makes your throat itch when you are eating it. This is how you sweep a corner. This is how you sweep a whole house. This is how you sweep a yard. This is how you smile to someone you don't like too much. This is how you smile to someone you don't like at all. This is how you smile to someone you like completely. This is how you set a table for tea. This is how you set a table for dinner. This is how you set a table for dinner with an important guest. This is how you set a table for lunch. This is how you set a table for breakfast. This is how to behave in the presence of men who don't know you very well, and this way they won't recognize immediately the slut I have warned you against becoming. Be sure to wash every day, even if it is with your own spit. Don't squat down to play marbles. You are not a boy, you know.
Don't pick people's flowers. You might catch something. Don't throw stones at blackbirds, because it might not be a blackbird at all. This is how to make bread pudding. This is how to make dokon. This is how to make pepper pot. This is how to make good medicine for a cold. This is how to make a good medicine to throw away a child before it even becomes a child. This is how to catch a fish. This is how to throw back a fish you don't like. And that way something bad won't fall on you. This is how to bully a man. This is how a man bullies you. This is how to love a man. And if this doesn't work, there are other ways. And if they don't work, don't feel too bad about giving up. This is how to spit up in the air if you feel like it. And this is how to move quick so that it doesn't fall on you. This is how to make ends meet. Always squeeze bread to make sure it's fresh. But what if the baker won't let me feel the bread? You mean to say that after all, you're really going to be the kind of woman who the baker won't let near the bread? The story we just read was titled Girl and was written by Jamaica Kincaid. As I previously said, this story is about a girl's relationship with her mother. As I was reading the story, it occurred to me that parents may be too tight with their children at times. It is shown throughout the whole text, which shows almost nothing of the daughter's viewpoint or ideas, which left me wondering what the daughter was thinking. The mother's lack of interest in learning further about her daughter is shown in the text. For example, while discussing singing Beno at Sunday school, the mother continues to insist that her daughter should not sing Beno in Sunday school without even considering the probability that her daughter actually does not sing Beno in Sunday school. On top of that, I had a distinct impression that I was evolving into the kind of person depicted by the mother in the story. I was, however, acting not as a mother, but as a sister to my siblings, particularly when the mother stated, "This is how you sweep a corner, this is how you sweep a whole house, this is how you sweep a yard." I am always nagging them about how to do things around the house. The mother does, however, provide her daughter with guidance on both the good and bad aspects of her experiences. The mother explains to the daughter when she should or should not do certain things. Some valuable advice, such as soaking saltfish to minimize salt content and avoiding going out in the sun with a bare head, is indeed useful to her. However, there is indeed a possibility that some of the information could have an adverse influence on her daughter as well. For instance, the mother teaches her daughter how to make a homemade abortion pill. The girl's health may be adversely affected by using this drug. As a result of employing the widow response critic technique, I have taken a closer look at these issues. Using this approach, I was able to convey what was going in my head while I was reading the story. Mind to share your insights of the story we just read?
As I was reading the story, I thought about a caring mother who wants the best for her growing daughter in life. But the story is quite possibly about a young girl being taught the ways of being a woman in society. The directions and ideas that the mother gives to her daughter are discriminatory towards women in society. For example, the mother says that the daughter should not play marbles like a boy, and that the girl should do household chores. These statements show that the mother believes that there are some things that females cannot or should not do. These stereotypes establish the gulf between the sexes. The mother is a representation of the idea that women should be limited to the home and that men can go out without restriction. More importantly, by simply repeating the word slut, the mother keeps labeling her daughter in a derogative way. In this way, Jamaica Kincaid's Girl effectively illustrates some of the ills of society and how parents could propagate discrimination through generations. This shows the truth in the society we live in, that some people just love to keep their power, and so they invent these convenient dichotomies. There is nothing natural about it. This is all made up, socially constructed, conveniently practiced and nurtured. As girls, we are fed up with these constructs every day, since, in our lives, the line between being oneself and freedom is a very blurry line. Oh, by the way, the approach that I use to express my views about the story is gender criticism, which shows the goals of feminist critics, which is examining how the images of men and women in imaginative literature reflect or reject the social forces that have historically kept the sexes from achieving total equality.
Jamaica Kincaid's short story Girl is simply a story that involves a mother and daughter in a seemingly one-way conversation. And through this conversation, the reader is left to discover the conflict underlying mother's words. Though this story is not simply written, there is an apparent conflict between the two characters in the story, and the girl is in fact Kincaid herself. The thing that can be gathered from the story about the setting itself is the time period in which this story occurs. From the dialogue in the story, it's easy to assume that the story takes place before the 1980s. This assumption can be backed by the apparent obedient and housekeeping role of the woman described in the story. The social setting in which Kincaid grew up in was obviously one which the wife stayed home and took care of the house, children, and husband, which translate into the story. The story creates two very distinct characters, a nagging mother and her daughter. Kincaid sat at the typewriter in her Hudson Street apartment and attempted to recreate her mother's voice in its first fictionalized incarnation. During the story, the mother makes it clear to the daughter that a woman's sole purpose in life is to wait on man and ensure his happiness. This story also uses the mother's voice as way to deliver instructions to her daughter in a nagging manner. Kincaid must have been thinking about her own experience as a young girl. The approach that I use is the historical criticism. This approach seeks to understand a literary work by investigating the social, cultural, and intellectual context that produced it, context that necessarily includes the artist's biography and milieu.
I see we have used different approaches. I have used the reader-response approach, the historical approach for her, and you have used the gender approach. Nice!
Oh, the driver's here. Let's go.